It is done, sir. Their bridge is no more.
Imposter! Show yourself! You claim to speak for me. Where are you now? You have gone unchallenged too long. Know this. I am Thor, god of thunder, and your evil will darken Midgard no more! Brother.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy BurstCG back here, and today we are back for another Marvel's Avengers video. Now today I want to go into more of these iconic missions that are in the game, and so far we really only have Black Widows, Thor, Captain America, and Hulk's. Iron Man's are kind of tied to what seemed like the story because they're not replayable at this point, but yeah, so far Thor's is more of the interesting one because it sets up for potentially bigger stuff. But before we get into it, I do have to say there is a Thor prelude comic regarding the Marvel's Avengers game. If you haven't read it, you probably should just go take a quick read at it. It's not that long. It's like 26 pages or something. And it's just a little short story. But it kind of gives you a little bit of insight also to how, relationship between some of the Avengers started to already have a little bit of fallout. But if you don't want to go and read it and you just want a short summary, Tony and Bruce were trying to find a way to basically be able to teleport anywhere. It didn't work. There was already some frustration between Tony and Bruce because, Bruce is like, did you check the numbers? Yada, 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 yada. Thor opens up a portal via Heimdall to Asgard, and neither of them is really interested at that point. And actually, a surprise character, Loki, was behind the scenes, and he actually started manipulating the words between Bruce and Thor. And Tony flew out. He was done. He was like, all right, I'm done here. I'm out of here. So basically it was just Thor and Bruce left. And Loki basically created a conflict between the two, which ended up in the two of them fighting. And they put civilian lives in danger, which is already a step towards the Avengers not really looking good in the public eye, which even now, Captain America says some of the public, even if they're doing good, they just got to keep doing it, even despite what the public says. So even now, they're not in the public's best eye right now. They're still kind of floating out there. But yeah, so pretty much they fight. You see how the conflict starts between some of the Avengers, and that's it. But the major takeaway is that you have Loki there. Loki, they said in the comic, I believe Thor said he was going to Asgard and being punished by Odin. But when you look at the cutscenes the cutscenes and just the overall iconic missions themselves, you have a so-called clone of Thor here, when realistically it's not a clone, because you see him use what looks to be the Bifrost of some kind, at least, because he teleports an Adaptoid in his spot, which is kind of interesting, kind of weird at the same time, because the Bifrost is you can use dark magic to teleport too. I don't know if he has access to that in his game. Potentially he does, but usually you see Heimdall use that kind of version of teleporting people with the Bifrost or whatever. So it's intriguing. But at first I thought it was a clone, and it doesn't really seem to be a clone because obviously, like I said, he's using Bifrost. But it made sense because Monica is working on clones, and you already fight Abomination and Taskmaster. So fighting Thor wouldn't have been so bad, but fighting Loki sounds a lot better. But anyways, getting more into it, Loki has this group called the Woken following him. Now, Black Widow makes a reference talking about whether or not if they're AIM people who are working with him, or AIM people who aren't working with AIM anymore and they are following him for some reason. It's kind of a weird thing, because there's no reason why AIM would need to work with Loki, and vice versa. I don't really know what Loki would need out of AIM, to be honest, other than the fact of finding out maybe that they're dwelling in time travel and he has some hidden agenda there. That's the only reason. but I don't know where they really plan to take the story at the moment, because Loki is such a he can fit anywhere into different types of stories. Like I said, the time travel piece that they're working with, that Monica's dealing with, that could go any number of ways. It can go good or bad, and Loki could be at the center of it, or it could be something different. But I'm assuming it's going to be something different. I don't know why he's on Earth, though. That is the thing. Him being on Earth, other than messing with people, he has some hidden agenda here with creating this device that seemingly would be be able to transport them to Asgard and whatnot. But as Thor mentions, without Heimdall, it's pretty much, useless. Like, they can just destroy everything. So, was it really a good idea? What was the plan behind that? And how did they get this information on how to even build that? What kind of technology was available? Like, how did they get all this equipment to build it in the first place without anybody really questioning it? There's a whole bunch of questions I have regarding that. The Woken, though, it seems like it's definitely a new group. That's going to be probably a whole original story between with Crystal Dynamics. So I'm interested to see where they take that, because there's not a lot of information to work with regarding the Woken either. All you know is that they worship Thor, basically, but they seem like they don't know it's Loki. So I'm not really. It's kind of weird, because most people on Earth know that Thor is a good guy. They wouldn't do this weird stuff, and they know Thor would not partner with AIM, especially after this. So there's definitely some manipulation being had here with Loki and his schemes. I don't know what other information he really gave them, though, because it seems like they're all working without really needing orders all the time. He just popped in a few times. He the first time you see him in the cutscene, he was there, but he popped away really quick. Like, he didn't want to waste time. The second time, he was just there viewing Thor. Like, he wasn't really there to fight. And Loki's never really been a fighter, but it's interesting to see that he would reveal himself so easily, because Thor picked up on it pretty quick. But yeah, so I don't really know. I don't really know where they could take this right now. I'm gonna put my bets on either we're gonna get something later with Thor and Asgard, a potential update DLC with that, or he has something to do with upcoming stories and they may tease it further. Now, I don't know how they're gonna flesh out more iconic missions, because we have Kate Bishop coming, I believe, in October, and then Hawkeye in November. Now, right now, the iconic missions kind of are a little lackluster, because there's only about 1 or 2 per character, and like I said, Iron Man's is part of the story, so you can't really replay him. I'm hoping that each DLC you get 1 to 2 more iconic missions, so you can kind of keep building on those individual stories. I know Black Widow's, if you watched I think the previous videos I had, it kind of talked about what the whole thing with her was going on, but they could take hers another place. I don't know, make some reference to a Red Room thing or something. I don't know, wherever they want to go with that. But Thor's is open-ended at this point, and I'm still trying to get information on Bruce and how he has how he has the bruises. So I'm looking into that, but I haven't found a direct answer yet. But so far, Thor's is the most interesting out of all of them, just because his is open-ended, and like I said, Loki is a doorway to many possibilities. I'm gonna put my bets, though, on a time travel aspect. I don't know why, but there seems like he could have motive there for whatever reason. Destruction of Asgard, or for his own plans. I don't know if this Loki wants to be king of Asgard or anything like that. As far as I know, from the way the comic had him, he seems more like he just wants to F around with people. That's kind of what it seems like. He had no reason to really manipulate Banner and Thor into fighting each other, and it feels weird that Thor would be so easily persuaded by Loki's words to get into a conflict like that without really realizing it. So that's also something really sly about him. And who knows, Loki could have actually been behind the scenes of a lot of the events. Who knows? He definitely is aware, and I don't think that he ever got taken to prison or anything by Odin or anything like that. And if he did, it definitely wasn't the real Loki. Let's just say that. A whole MCU theory too Everybody wants to talk about that's not the real Loki. That one was the real Loki. Okay, I believe it. Anywho, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole Woken and the Loki thing. It's really open ended with them. There's no clear direction where they could go until we see more. And I'm hoping that they don't, some of the missions are kind of long. I think the iconic missions, they need to be a little bit longer though. I think we need at least 2 to 3 to get a decent understanding of what we're going into. Because some of the other ones already closed their stories off, like Black Widow. I won't say it now, but they already ended that whole thing with what she was actually doing. Between the different missions, and Caps was kind of, I don't really know if it was an ending, more so it was kind of like a, alright guys, rally up type of thing. Hulk, not really an ending. I still need answers. And Iron Man's is part of the story. So Kamala, I don't think Kamala Kamala doesn't have iconic missions either. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about the Woken and what really they're driven by and what they are getting out of this, because I honestly don't think that there's much in it for them. If anything, they're there to just get caught or beat up. Let's be real. They're pawns in a bigger game on a chessboard that Loki has the key, information about. He knows what's about to happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know you guys think that something bigger is going to go down with Loki in the future, or if it's just kind of a small thing that they're referencing for now. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.